Hi, my name is
Yes.
Nadira.
Hi, my name is Frank.
So I'll be asking Frank some questions about the topic he's chosen called gender inequality in the medical field. So I'll ask him about 5 questions and he'll give some answers. He's more of an expert in the topic, so I'll just be doing the asking and he'll be giving me some thought out answers. So one of my first questions is, why are you interested in this specific issue in the medical field?
I'm really interested in this particular issue in the medical field because it has always been my personal belief that we should all receive equal and fair treatment no matter our race, ethnicity, and most importantly, our gender. It is quite shocking for me that when I was looking up for certain statistics regarding the subject, how prevalent gender inequality is within the medical field in areas such as education, residency/practicing physician positions, and even how patients receive and pay for their treatment or care. Going into specifics as to why I am even more passionate into this is because into gender equality and hoping that it can be something in the medical field is because of how many troubles women often face within their own workplace and how they're often subject to verbal abuse and even lower pay depending on what they choose to specialize in. On top of this, oftentimes a woman's opinion in the medical field is often not taking into account whether they are in medical school or even working as an attending in the hospital, and they're often underrepresented when it comes to how many positions they hold within both residency and medical education as a whole. And even many women are subject to a lower quality of patient care, and studies have shown that autoimmune disease that can affect a woman are often under research, which can cause difficulty diagnosing of patients should they ever receive such a disease. It often saddens me how badly gender equality disproportionately affects our medical field within the U.S. and how even though it is steadily improving, it is often overshadowed by the more glaring problems that are already present, such as medical death and also burnout.
And how do you think your community is affected by the issue?
I believe that my community is particularly affected by gender inequality in the medical field for quite a variety of reasons. One, it can be discouraging for certain individuals in my community to go into the medical field as they have aspirations in it, knowing that they will face gender inequality on top of the already brutal training that comes with medical school and residency. And having to face another difficult obstacle could potentially impact whether or not they want to go into this practice. And even when choosing for residency, it also might be a glaring issue as many hyper-competitive residencies are often male-dominated. And more talking about patient care, gender equality definitely affects it because in community, we oftentimes can associate or connect with, say, a physician or a doctor that is the same gender of us, and because of how gender inequality disproportionately affects the number of physicians that are practicing, this connection cannot be made, and as such, it can be difficult for patients to share their issues with another physician that could be of the opposite gender of them. And at the same time, because of how long it can take for some individuals to be diagnosed with a particular disease, and also because of how understudied certain diseases can be, this could primarily affect people of different genders, and it could make them go through unnecessary suffering and potentially even death because of this gender equality within the medical field and how it affects practically every single aspect of it.
And is there any statistical data you want to share about this issue? And did the data that you research influence your position previously?
So some statistical data that I alluded to in the beginning is quite shocking and reveals how much gender equality truly impacts the medical field as a whole. For example, a study done by the American Association of Medical Colleges revealed that at least 46% of all residents in medical specialties were female. That doesn't sound too bad, but when going into depth, you realize how badly it is when you realize there are more women in two particular specialties within the medical field, and in even more of the hyper-competitive specialties such as orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, and plastic surgery. Women make up such a low percentage that when looking and researching for how many women make up the total of orthopedic surgery residents, I found out that they only make up 5% of it. And similar studies in medical education as a whole found out that only 38% of women make up faculty in medical schools, and of that, only 21% were actually full-time professors, and only 16% were actually deans present in U.S. medical schools. And even further, When going into practicing, an average female physician can earn at least around $15,000 less compared to the male counterparts in certain fields such as psychiatry. And for patient care itself, women generally have to pay more insurance premiums than men up until President Obama prohibited this with acts such as the Affordable Care Act. And though I do not have a particularly good statistic for this, I want to note that it is generally considerably more harder for women in receiving general contraceptive care, and also it is generally more harder for them to receive abortions given the stigma involved around it in certain states in the U.S.
Gender inequality is prevalent in industries such as the film industry and education. Do you believe advocacy movements such as strikes, sit-ins, and other forms of peaceful demonstration can help spread awareness for the issue and eventually stop it within the medical industry?
I do believe that many of these strategies could indeed create the change that is necessary to ensure that awareness of the fact that gender equality affects many fields, and in particular the medical field, present. And it's my hope that that gender inequality could possibly change in order to help women and other people of different genders who are being discriminated against receive fair pay, better working conditions, and overall a better chance of being cared properly by physicians. To add on to this, other ideas that could be added on are trying to found new advocacy groups in favor of ensuring that gender equality can be brought within all aspects of the medical field, and in general making sure that the voices who are advocating for gender equality are heard and not oppressed, in order so that we can ensure that there are changes made in laws and rules, and even legislation can be brought forth to ensure that this is possible.
Definitely. And what are some solutions that you would recommend, or would like to address to combat this issue, and steps we can take moving forward?
Some of the solutions, or some of the solutions that I have, are in regards to similar to what you said in regards to strikes and sit-ins, which are good methods of ensuring that awareness can be brought in on the subject of gender inequality within the medical field, and even potentially as well in other fields. However, I believe that all of these can bring awareness. They're not entirely direct solutions, and certain solutions that I believe could be used to combat it are being able to change the rules and ways in which physicians can, say, act around the practice, and like partner, and how they act between partners that work with them in operations, to ensure that people of different genders are not constantly harassed by those who believe themselves to be superior or in any other way. And in terms of medical schools, we can ensure that new rules, and laws can be passed to ensure that people can receive a better opportunity to share their views on different topics without being snubbed or denied the opportunity to do so. And if we can do this, then we can also apply different rules of equality when people are looking to apply for different resident positions to specialize in, so that we can increase the percentage of both genders that are working in fields such as neurosurgery, orthopedics, and plastics. And in terms of medical care, we can see that solutions to combat this are by ensuring new laws similar to President Obama's Affordable Care Act are passed to ensure that people can receive treatment, and even better funding is given to observe and study diseases which disproportionately affect women. Keep in mind that there's only a few solutions that could potentially work in the first place, but they require the advocacy and awareness to ensure that they can even be considered to be passed. But I do believe that they have a fair shot. And if we continue advocating for gender equality in channels such as this, there could be a high chance that it could eventually gain notice and become mainstream.
Thanks, Frank, for the discussion.